Oh, unmute.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and call to order our meeting, Community Service Commission, regular meeting, during, call to order at 5:32. Reminder for commissioners, speak clearly and loudly in the microphone and make sure, phones are silent. We don't have a quorum, so we're just going to discuss the items on our agenda. Does that mean we can approve our minutes?
Correct.
Okay. We'll go ahead and skip item number 2, which is the approval of the January minutes. We'll do that at the next meeting. Item 3 is public comment. Any person may directly address the commission at this time on any item not on the agenda or on any item that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker. Any public comment? No public comment. Okay. So item 4, dog park discussion and update by our community service director, Adam.
All right, well, good evening, commissioners. Thanks for joining us today. This will probably be relatively quick. In regards to the dog park, since the last time we met, we were talking about renderings of the park to be distributed within the next couple of months. And so I did get word from the engineer today that there is plans to have a completed design proposal submitted to the city this Friday. So we don't have it just yet, but that is his plan to get it out for us on Friday, and then waiting for a cost estimate from the surveyors as well. So with that, it's kind of the one major piece that we've been waiting on. So once we get that in, we can distribute that to commissioners for review. And then at the April or the March meeting, we can reconvene and kind of just discuss what we think, any corrections, additions, things that we'd like to see altered, and then essentially really start the push for the project from that point. And so, yeah, so I'm excited to make that announcement, and then, but yeah, we should be rolling from then on out. So with that concludes my report, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I'm excited.
That's very exciting.
Want something to look at.
Yeah.
Item number 5 is Kingsburg Senior Citizen Resource Fair discussion.
Perfect. So that's the Kingsburg Senior Center will be hosting a free resource fair to Fresno County area seniors. This is to kind of display senior service agencies within Fresno County that offer services to seniors. And of course, it's a free event for all seniors to participate in. And it's really just to spotlight those agencies because we do get a lot of requests at the Kingsburg Senior Center for services, but a lot of seniors just don't have a lot of that online outreach. And this is kind of doing an in-person approach at the Senior Center. We'll make it a fun day event from 9 to 2 on May 5th. And it'll incorporate the vendors coming out, some live entertainment, and potentially food and raffle and all that good stuff. The commissioners, several of you commissioners, expressed interest in helping with that event. And so I do have a couple positions that we are looking to kind of spearhead and kind of give out if you guys are interested. One of them is our vendor coordinator. We do have vendor applications coming in for the event. We just need someone who's willing to kind of go through them, coordinate, kind of seeing who the contact is, seeing the actual list, and then placement of them for that day. So like helping myself create a map. We'll be using the parking lot that day at the Senior Center. So just kind of placing them, seeing where they would best fit, and making sure that, different agencies aren't just necessarily in the same area, and kind of making the flow so that it's easier for seniors to navigate. So I do have that. A raffle and entertainment coordinator is another one. All these vendors are going to be giving raffle prizes that we can give out to the seniors that day. So there's about over 30 to 40 that will be managed to be able to be displayed, kind of reviewed, and then seniors kind of be able to walk through and kind of see what they're interested in. And then at a certain time in the event, someone will need to be able to kind of go through the tickets, make those announcements, and then help the seniors kind of, distribute those raffles. So if someone's interested in doing that. And then the last one is the lunch partnership. the senior center wants to provide a free lunch, to all seniors that attend. And, we just need someone who's interested and willing to kind of reach out to local restaurants and seeing who's willing to partner with the senior center and what kind of lunch might be available to be provided, whether it's working with, Smokehouse and seeing if they're willing to do like a tri-tip and pilaf and green beans, or someone wants to come out and do, enchiladas and rice and beans, just to kind of get something so that we can give that out that day, and just someone who's willing to kind of just take that and kind of, network with local restaurants here in town and see who's kind of the best fit for that day. But all in all, those are kind of the main things we're focusing on now. I know May's a couple months away, but kind of just getting this going so that, and the majority of this is funded through Tri-County Healthcare. They granted a grant to the senior center last year, and so this is part of that grant process. And so yeah, with that ends my report. And again, if anyone's interested in that, then just let us know and we can go from there.
The vendor coordinator, is that reaching out to vendors?
No, they're coming in. So we've sent out feelers for the vendors already, so they're contacting the senior center. So we'll compile the Excel spreadsheet with them, and really it's just kind of sitting down and getting a list of them, and then putting them in placements for the actual event. But yeah, outreach-wise, we'll do that.
Making sure everybody's checked in.
Yeah, making sure everyone checks in that day and making sure that, everyone's got their same spot and all that good stuff, so.
Got it. Okay. I could probably help with that.
Okay, cool, I can put your name for that.
Yeah.
And then we'll set up some off-site meetings at the senior center when things get closer and we can, kind of just get a better feel this way. It's, and it's again, mostly me and the senior center staff that'll be able to kind of coordinate from this point, but on the actual day, it's kind of more hands-on and saying this is a City of Kingsburg event, and hosted by the commissioners and the Parks and Rec department, and kind of want to get that feel from this group to say we're doing this for the seniors, so.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
Hey. Everybody.
Hello.
Okay, so we have a quorum now.
We do have a quorum established, so we can jump up to number 2 if you'd like to approve the minutes, and then we can finish from there.
So let's do that. So since we have a quorum, we'll go back to 2, for the approval of the January 25th meeting minutes. I have a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Okay. So we will now jump down to item 6. So item 6, Commissioner's Report on Park Analysis, Heritage Downtown Memorial. Did everybody have a chance to, between last meeting now, to visit those 3 parks?
I haven't.
No.
Okay. I kind of left this on there just because it was a discussion item from the last meeting.
I do remember that.
But it was more leading into the next one with the Tri-County grant cycle coming up, and just giving you the opportunity as park commissioners to kind of go out there and just take a look to see what the needs might be before we submit applications. But anyways, yeah, that's why it's on there. But
And remind me of the grant application date, that.
the grants are due in May,
Okay.
and we'll talk about it on item 7. But
Okay.
just wanted to see everyone's feelers on the park assessments.
Got it. I remember Deanna bringing up just some of the structure. She's not here to kind of talk about that part of it. And so I didn't have time to look at new equipment to maybe be added on. But I think they've already mentioned what is that called?
The softball for the.
Yeah, changing out, getting rid of the bark and then changing that to what our newer parks have.
The rubber matting.
The rubber matting. And then also just looking at some of the new play equipment to maybe areas that we could update, things like that. At the downtown and more. I didn't have a chance to get out to Heritage. Usually at downtown. With the little one. So, yeah. So I guess we'll probably just continue discussing that one next.
Yep.
Awesome.
Notice they trimmed the tree.
They did, yes.
They did a nice job.
Yeah.
That looks better. And the bushes around,
Yep. Yeah, it works.
so that looks, even that looks better.
Yeah.
Next item, number 7, Tri-County Healthcare District Grant Cycle 2023 discussion.
Okay, perfect. So this kind of leads into what we just previously discussed with the analysis. The last commission meeting, we discussed a couple of projects for the local parks. Again, Tri-County does a grant cycle every year for health and health, wellness, physical, mental, and they just give grant funding to agencies that provide services in those areas. And the city has received, since 2017, has received continuous grants from Tri-County just on various projects. For Parks and Recreation, it's always been the Crandall Swim Complex, the Athwal Park phases, the skate park, shade structures, and things like that fit within our jurisdiction. And so we came up with a couple of ideas at the last meeting, and so I had the engineering department put some numbers together. And so it'll be up to you guys this evening if you choose to go forward. The two areas that we focused on were the shade structures at parks that don't have them. I only have numbers for Heritage Park that currently doesn't have a shade structure over the playground. It's about $130,000 estimate to get that in place at Heritage Park. Again, this would be a grant request for Tri-County for just that specific park. I know Downtown Park doesn't necessarily have one, Memorial Park doesn't have a shade structure, but that was just what we collected for Heritage. So assuming that the other parks would be somewhere around the same ballpark. So that is one project or one application this commission could request putting in for Tri-County. And then the second one, or second and third, is the soft fall material at Downtown Park and Memorial Park. Soft fall is the bark material. It's not your traditional ground-up bark that you find in someone's garden. It's engineered and cleaned a little differently so that it provides more of a cushion for falling at playground equipment and stuff like that. There's a little bit more resistance to it. But that you find at Downtown Park and Memorial Park. And because those are the city's two main parks, this commission thought it would be best to kind of go away from that and go to the pour and play rubber that you find at the newer developed parks here in town. With those two parks, getting the soft fall removed and the pour and play rubber added, it's $72,000, and that's for both parks. And that's going from that bark material, removing it, adding the base layers needed for the pour and play, and then adding the pour and play around the existing play structures that are there. And so with that, those are the only ones that I researched, and then we had the engineering department put numbers together for. So again, this commission can discuss submitting all the applications, choosing out of those, just doing shade structures or just doing softball. There are other city departments that we were requesting funds as well, police department and fire department and public works. So there's only a limited amount of funding, so I'd like to say, the city is gonna submit applications for all of these, but really in reality, kind of have to pick and choose. The project you do choose tonight, or the projects you do choose tonight, will go to council next week, and they will make the final determination on what projects get selected. But with your recommendation, it's usually what this group recommends that they go with. So with that, I'll hand it over to you for discussion, and just kind of let me know what your guys' guidance is. So.
So this is a grant
For the cover, for the play structure,
for the shade structure.
shade structure, so the shade structure is,
Over the play equipment.
right, so that's what I said.
Yeah.
For the,
And that's at Heritage Park.
it must be a pretty big area. I haven't seen the Heritage Park. That's the one with the dog, right? No, that's Outlaw.
No.
Outlaw's the dog.
No.
Heritage is out by the cemetery.
That's,
So is it a pretty big area? Because that's $130,000.
the shade structures are, they got.
Yeah, they're pretty big. It's a smaller park. It's a residential park. It is one of the only parks that we have kind of in that area of
Is
town.
that the other side of the train?
And it's on the other side of the trade track, but it's not Athwal. Athwal was the one that we just did with the skate park and the fitness court. But yeah, it's just a residential park on Cody Lane, so,
Neither of these parks are dog parks.
correct.
Right, okay. So I'm gonna go look at them tomorrow. I actually have time. I will go check them out tomorrow.
And then the other one, Downtown Memorial, we're looking at removing the bark and then
Right,
putting
doing
other
that.
stuff. So that's what that
Rubber.
72 K is.
Is that safe, that rubber?
That's what all of the new parks have. It's not rubber bark, it's rubber mat. So if you go to the new Summerlin, you go to Aswall, that's going to have that.
Has it been tested for like chemicals and that kind of stuff? I know, like your kids playing or falling on something, sometimes parents can be really paranoid about the consistency. Not that it's not safe to fall on, but like,
Well, you
what
can
is
go
the
test
material?
it out at Aswall or Summerlin.
Someone? Mm-hmm.
They have it already there.
Right.
So, mhm. So all of the newer parks are doing that and stuff. And as far as safety, I would assume that.
Yeah, it's replaced the old bark method. You know, before it used to be sand in the pits, you know, and then sand went to bark, and then the bark has now different, you could do the rubber tiles, you could do the shredded rubber, you could do, and really it's just recycled material. A lot of it is recycled tire material, that gets ground down and, you know, put into a matting format. So it's safer, you know, and then does last a lot longer. Maintenance is a lot easier for Public Works to go out there and spray them down. And then you're not worrying about splinters, dirt, parents bringing all that home. It's just a nice mat for them to go and
I noticed when my daughter plays at the other parks, I like it.
and like it better.
She likes it. I like it.
Plus falling is a lot safer.
Yeah.
It's a lot thicker padding. With the bark, if you do remove it in certain areas, it is flatter. So, you know, when the bark does go down, and when the city replaces it once every 2 years or so,
Mhm.
And so
Yeah,
it
the
just
chances
prevents
of the
that.
splinters, the
I
younger
definitely
kids.
I think it's like the stuff that they have at ice rinks, that kind of matting, or, you know.
Not sure, yeah, it's like
all
it's not, they can't remove it, it's poured in, so it's like a rubber cement
Yeah.
that, yeah, it gets poured into the play structure and it doesn't come out.
Oh, I think I've seen it before.
Yeah,
But it's at the newer parks, so you can see it there, walk on it, test it out, touch it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely better.
Do any of you guys have comments on it? On any of the applications? Does anybody want to?
We can't do both of them, right?
you can make the recommendation that we seek both. And then, like I said, when we go to council next week,
Yeah.
we'll kind of display them the list and whether they have the option of picking and choosing which ones, removing certain ones, or just saying, yeah, let's just do them all. And again, that just goes to Tri-County, but then Tri-County goes through and makes their determination on which ones best fit their scope of the grant. Our thing is that, I mean, if all departments are seeking funding, that's gonna be quite a list. So the chances of us getting selected would be, you know, minimal, but, we haven't not received grant money in the past, so we do have a, you know, good.
Maybe set up a priority list.
That's what I was just gonna say, do we wanna prioritize?
Yeah.
Anybody have suggestions on how to prioritize? I know looking at it and just kind of within the parks and the ones that, you know, I see being used by the community members, Downtown and Memorial.
Yeah.
I see those ones, heavy traffic flow in some parts. So if it was my priority, I would do the Downtown Memorial, replacing the bottom, and then, the second would be the shade structures.
Agree. I do see that park being used a lot. That's the one I'm the most familiar with. I did, the mayor brought me around to all the parks, so I've probably seen all of them because she took me out
Yep.
to see all of them, but I just don't know the names. I don't remember the names because I was
Yeah.
a year and a half, 2 years ago.
There's a couple of them, yep,
Yeah.
there's a couple, so.
Yeah, so do we wanna make a recommendation to just go with the priority list, recommend the two with one, you know, the Memorial, Downtown, and then Heritage?
Yep, do you like something like that?
With those two items, with the
Mhm.
bark as well as the shade structure.
Yeah, so we'll go in with asking for both of them, but if we had to choose one over the other, the core in place.
Someone wants to make that motion, we can go forward.
Okay.
I know, I'm thinking in my head right now.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So we'll make a motion to recommend, for the Tri-County grant, to the both downtown memorial pour and play, as well as the heritage shade structure. And then also with our priority list of the downtown memorial park as number 1, and then the heritage number 2. Make sense?
Yep. I think, Carol, you got it?
Anybody want to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I will.
Second.
All right.
And that?
Perfect.
Good.
Great job.
Good job. All right, awesome. Item number 8, unscheduled matters, for commission members for discussion only, action may not be taken. Items must be on the agenda for action to be, taken. Anybody?
Like on Wednesdays, okay.
It's a long day with the little one. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss, or add to future agenda?
I'm sorry, I was a few minutes late, in some paperwork. Did I miss anything about the senior center? Because I was reading the last meeting and we were talking about, maybe
Yeah,
volunteering at one of the events to help out with that.
Yeah, they're doing a resource fair.
Yeah, so am I part of that? I mean, am I gonna be in a booth? What can I do to
Oh,
help?
that's a good question. You guys didn't bring up the booth for any of the events coming up, but I mean, that's something we could add to the next agenda item if you want. I think, Commissioner, Johnson wanted to do like, something for car show or Swedish festival to kind of give people input on what incoming parks are coming, or some kind of survey for that. So I guess we could add that to a future agenda item if
Yeah,
you'd like.
I think Swedish Festival we usually did.
Something,
And then
right,
we
usually
did
for
time
skate
block.
park?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could bring that up at the next meeting.
And were we gonna do arts and crafts, or did you need help?
So the senior center is doing a resource fair in May, and so we're just asking commissioners if they'd be interested in participating. But it's not booth wise, it's just kind of helping coordinate,
Right,
the event. So if you're interested in that, we can, I can reach out, I can work with you after this and we can,
right, I
we can
remember the
figure out.
conversation for both, so they were in my mind since have a
Yeah.
heavy schedule, I don't wanna miss out the
Yeah.
volunteer opportunities
Okay.
from the.
yeah, so I can work with you offline after that and then kind of figure out where you like to fit in that resource fair.
Okay.
Any other, anything else? No? Okay. Awesome. I can't think of anything, and take a trip to the park.
I will redo my park with my name, I've been to four parks. So,
I think it's good just to refresh our memories, to go, walk, look, things like that. You know, if there's any labels that are missing, bring
Yeah,
that
things-
up, 'cause
Things are out of place or broken, I mean, we don't know until residents do a formal complaint, or if I happen to catch it or Public Works happens to catch it, but,
yeah.
I don't know, with all the funding that it appears we're getting, which I think is great, to do these great projects with, what about, the brick thing? What about having people in the area who wanna put their name on a brick and donate 300 or 200 and get their name written on one of those bricks, and just having some extra money to use it for something? You know, fixing a theater, or, well, whatever we decide. You
yeah, so
know?
there's 2 active brick campaigns that we're currently doing, but it's kind of on a hiatus, is the one for the skate park, and then the potential one for the dog park. And there has to be a certain project behind them, so it's not necessarily just creating a brick project. I know we have like the Centennial one at Memorial Park, but that one has been completed. I know bricks are empty, but that project completed. So it would be reinitiating a new project to add to. And then the way the city funding kind of works, it's a little difficult. It's a little different, right? If funding comes in, it has to be allocated to, a certain commission or group to use. But if it was a private donation, it would be different. But yeah, so we've got those 2, and then once we do a completion of like the skate park, there's still an additional phase that's missing. Then we reinstitute the kind of going through the process of that brick. And then once we start making traction with the dog park, it'll be the same process. Being able to have, residents and companies be able to donate was in the works, but yes.
Anything else? That's it.
All right, yeah.
So,
Calendar for next meeting is,
Oh, yeah.
where are we, March, what color are we, purple?
The
22nd. March 22nd at 5:30.
I will be here.
We will schedule our next meeting for March 22nd, 5:30.
All right.
And then 9 will adjourn at 5:57.
Right.
Awesome,
This
thank you.
is a quick meeting. I thought we were an hour.